Sorry. Hello and welcome to the DojoCast. This is episode 14 of the DojoCast, Zoom Zoom. Hey guys, I'm your host, Kid Guru Adrian, and I'm here today joined by another Dojo member, Josh Oakes, or We493. What's up, man? Alright, good. So we have a lot of news. I don't know, have you been following whole CES, Josh, this whole couple weeks or past week?
Yes, I've kind of just been following whatever comes in through Twitter or Google Reader or something like that.
Yeah, same here. Just checking out the new products and what's getting, like the mentions and stuff like that over at CNET, etc. But there's not too much CES news today. I mean, we're going to talk about the Motorola tablet later on, but other than that, I think I talked a lot about it last week. So one story I do want to mention. Actually, I'll mention that later on. But so before we get into the news feed here, I don't think there's any announcements I need to make. I think not much. Just do check out the website at digitaldojos.com. We're doing some redesigning and kind of moving platforms. We're still staying on WordPress, but we're just doing some changes to the website, and you'll see that we have news posts, etc. up there now. And you should still be able to go to podcast.digitaldojos.com for your podcast, and different shows are going to be up there as soon as I get my iPhone 4 here. I remember last podcast I was broken, but I'm going to have to get this fixed still, and that's when we'll start the app reviews and stuff like that. Anyways, with that, let's jump into the news, and the first story is from Mashable. It's a really big story in my opinion. Spotify, one of the big services. I don't know, do you still remember when we used Spotify? Did you ever use it?
Yeah, I used Spotify for a while, but it just kind of became a mess having to use a proxy in the UK and constantly find one that's up and that's fast too.
Yeah, same here. I remember we had to make like multiple accounts just to get working. It's a really great service though, but it's basically it's a music streaming service. You can like search through their database and listen to music automatically, streaming through the internet. And I think they even have like an offline feature for your phones and stuff like that. But according to the New York Post, the two music industry sources report that Spotify is very close to signing a deal with Sony Music and has also linked up with another label, which hasn't been named yet. But we've reached out to Sony and Spotify, Mashable says, but they haven't heard back from either of them yet. But U.S. citizens have been waiting for a stateside launch for a while now, and they're hoping it would be last year at South by Southwest. But there's a delay to back in June, and then there's some problems with negotiation and record labels and all of that because there's obviously streaming other artists' music. So it lost. It's not really as of now. I think they have a premium service. You charge monthly, and they have a free service. But it's not really as of now really generating revenue because it lost I think $26.7 million back in 2009. So it's still hopefully this U.S. launch can obviously I'm sure if they launch in the U.S. it'll be they'll get a lot of customers and stuff like that. But if you haven't used Spotify, it's a really great service. I think the UK. So if you're in the UK, you're already lucky enough to actually be able to use the service. When it comes to the U.S., it's definitely something I'm going to be checking out. And I don't know. I don't think I signed up for that early sign up. Maybe I did. I'll have to check in my email. But, these are going to be competitors with stuff like MOG, Rhapsody, RDO, or Radio, I guess. Or I don't know if it's pronounced. But those are some other big services out there that are doing kind of stuff that's very similar. Or stuff like, what's the other one? Groove Shark? Is that what it's called? Streams it over a website. So, yeah, there's a couple of services out there. But I don't know, Spotify just really easy interface and really easy to use and quick and just really good quality music streaming over the internet. But with that's that story, and with that I want to move into some Apple rumors. Or actually, this was last week a rumor on our show that it's been the big rumor that Apple was going to be. I mean, the iPhones are going to be coming to Verizon. And last week or a couple days ago, it actually did at CES, I believe, the Verizon keynote. They announced it. I think Steve Jobs was there, but I think it was Phil Schiller who was there to kind of shake hands with the guys at Verizon and announce the new phone, the new iPhone to Verizon now. It's not LTE, it's not a 4G phone, it's the same iPhone 4. Some minor design changes. They moved the antenna, I guess, to fix antenna gate issues. They moved it from, if you can see my iPhone here, instead of the antenna being right here, I believe it's up here now near like the volume switch, so it's not an issue when holding the phone. They just moved it higher instead of lower. I think other than that, they removed the micro SIM slot on the side, and they added a personal, or what's it called? It's called personal hotspot. Is that what it's called? Or something like, yeah, which is basically tethering so people can connect to your iPhone as a Wi-Fi device. So it's kind of like a router. You can turn it on, and multiple people can use it as the Wi-Fi. If they have Wi-Fi devices like iPod Touch, tablets, etc. And an interesting study over at Apple Insider shows that 16% of AT&T customers are already planning to switch to Verizon for the Apple iPhone. And it shows a little chart here for the impact of a Verizon iPhone on the AT&T network. It says here that 16% already said yes, 60% has said no, and 23% are still unsure whether or not they'll be switching, which I'm sure over time it's going to a lot of people are going to start to switch over to Verizon. And also keep in mind the study is only of 4,050 U.S. wireless customers. This isn't obviously the whole general consensus of everybody who's an AT&T user. But I know I've heard a lot of people say, hey, they're going to switch, or some people who have been like thinking about buying an iPhone now is like they kind of waited off. Now is the perfect time because you have different choices here. If you want Verizon, if you want to go with AT&T. So it's all on you, and yeah, it's some big news there, and a lot of people are waiting for that. Again, it's not LTE, it's not a 4G phone, it's the same phone, a little bit different design. It's not thin or anything else, just internals of the radio, or I should say the antenna and stuff like that. But with that, let's move into our next story over at networkworld.com. Now, there's some big news in the industry, I guess, in the tech industry. Windows is on the verge of dropping below its 90% market share. I mean, I guess it's like, it's not huge because they still have only, 89% of the market share, but which is, a huge number. But I guess 1% would be a big loss. Anyways, Windows is on the verge of dropping below the 90% market share, with smartphones and tablets posing an increasingly serious threat to the dominance of the Microsoft operating system. So this is data from Net Applications, I believe, and they lump up all the mobile and desktop operating systems into one statistic. It says here in February 2009, they only had Microsoft had dropped from 93 to 90%, so that was a big loss there. And in December, what do you call that? They dropped from February 93% to December 90%, and Windows was still above 92% market share as recently as February 2010, but suffered steady losses during the rest of the year. That's some news over at networkworld.com, and with that, over at hothardware.com, some news of Skype. Skype acquired the video service called Qik. That's QIK. They are like a video streaming service, or I think it's streaming, right? Like they're one of those first people who allowed you to stream on your. I remember when the iPhone came out and stuff like that. One of the first companies allowed you to stream on the go, using your phone. And they have a service I think you can use online, just your webcam to live stream. But one of the big services on the mobile platform, I remember Kevin Rose used to feature them a lot. He used to stream over using Qik. But Skype, which is obviously a VoIP company, and now they've launched. You can Skype on your iPhone or your iPod Touch, they're being pretty big in the mobile market just because of all these new products coming out, like the iPad. I don't think they have an iPad version out yet, do they? Not that I know of. I think it's only the iPhone version. But again, I don't know if a lot of people would use Skype on the iPad. But anyways, they announced that the video company. The video calling would be coming to iPhone, like I said, iPod Touch, and the new Verizon 4G LTE line phones. So, it's a big deal. And with Qik now, they're going to be improving their video calling product. So, obviously, this is going to be dealing with the whole mobile stuff. I'm sure they're going to try to get, high quality calling and stuff like that. Just because that's what Qik is really good at. They're good at, keeping a good stream. With that, let's move on to some news from Engadget, more Apple news. I guess also over at Mac Rumors, but the future of the iPad 2, iPhone 5, and Apple TV, and why Apple is shifting its mobile line to the Qualcomm chips, what this article is titled. So, alright, some rumors, a lot of rumors, and me and Josh were actually talking about this earlier. So the iPad 2, according to Mac Rumors, is rumored to have would you say, Josh, double the resolution of the screen? Yeah, double the resolution. It's the new screens were already leaked. The iPad 2 may have these new screens with vibrating motors in them as well, kind of like that touch feedback when you touch a button or something, that the screen kind of vibrates in that area, so that tactile feedback. There you go. iPad 2 is said to be probably a little bit thinner. The buttons will probably be the same, kind of like a more curved design. Other than that, they also said obviously the dual core processors might be a thing with the Qualcomm. Along with the iPhone 5, it may get that whole dual core. What is it? Dual 1 GHz processors, right? The A4 chips, or are they gonna be A5? A5 chips, right? So A4 is their current CPU that they're using in the iPhone and iPad, which is pretty snappy for a 1 GHz processor. And sorry, I dropped something here. If they can get dual core in a phone, now this has already been done with phones like the Motorola Atrix, which was featured at CES, which is something that's a really interesting phone to see if you haven't seen that. So dual core is possible now in phones, and it's pretty snappy performance. and much better multitasking. And I know the Atrix is one of the first phones that have 1 GB of RAM in the phone. So I'm thinking the iPhone is probably gonna step up in terms of RAM too, just to help out that multitasking, and it's gonna kind of support the processor if they do get the Qualcomm chips. Now I'm thinking for the Apple TV, if they do update it again, version 2, I guess that's just going to be a better processor. I guess they don't really need to do much difference to that. If you haven't really seen the power of these dual-core, check out the Motorola Atrix. That's definitely a good phone at CES. That phone is able to plug into a dock and work as a full functional computer. It can do web top, desktop. It's like basically have a full version of Firefox running while you have your Android homepage. It's really great stuff, and it runs flawlessly, and I'm sure Apple's going to find a way, their custom A5 chips when they come out with these are going to be much more better. So those are just rumors, it's an exclusive, but do check into it if you're interested. But I do want to talk about 2 products at the CES, or actually I guess I already talked about the Atrix, but the Motorola Zoom. So the Atrix, I think, is going to be one of the big competitors for the iPhone. Like, I know, like, a lot of people say don't benchmark, people always benchmark the phone against the iPhone, but I think that if there's going to be any really big phone out right now, I think it's the Atrix. The Atrix is really a cool device. I'm not sure if it's launched already. I think it is already out for launch. But another big product they had at CES by Motorola was the Motorola Zoom. And the Zoom was a tablet that a lot of people think could be more of could be a leading tablet and could be a competitor to the iPad. It's running Google's new Android Honeycomb, which is a 3.0 power operating system for tablets specifically, which looks really nice. Powerful dual-core processor, a high-resolution 1200 by 800 display, dual cameras, and they have the Verizon 3G and soon-to-come 4G LTE network on it. So it's a fast device, great new interface, with the new Honeycomb. Has great hardware in it, and it's soon to have, Verizon 4G, which will make the internet speeds, downloading and all that much more faster. So if you're looking for another tablet besides the iPad, and, you really just want to see a killer tablet out on the market, other, than Apple's iPad, definitely check out the Motorola Zoom. A lot of good stuff coming out from Motorola, really nice looking products, and this could be one of the borderline tablets you can check out in the year 2011, so do check that out. The Motorola Zoom, that's spelled Xoom, not Zoom. So check it out, the Motorola Zoom. And the last story, but one of the big stories, you can have a chance to win up to $10,000 via iTunes of iTunes gift card credit if you download the 10 billionth app. So a couple of years ago, I don't know how long ago it was back. I think it was only in 2009 when the first billion apps were downloaded. The 1 billionth app. A 13-year-old won a iPod Touch. He got a MacBook Pro, a time capsule, and $10,000 iTunes credit as a prize just for downloading the 1 billionth app, which is one of those big landmark things. It's good to see Apple kind of doing those, giveaways for those special events. But now they're doing one for the 10 billionth App Store app. If you download it, and that's $10,000 in iTunes credit can get you 10,000 $1 apps. You can get so many stuff with it. But the easiest way to win the prize is to download the 10 billion app from the marketplace before entry forms are submitted from Apple's website. In order to make it fair for those who might not want to download more apps to their device, Apple's offering a non-purchase method for entering the sweepstakes. Those folks need to fill out an entry form to join in. People who opt for the non-purchase method will be able to win by submitting their entry form just prior to the 10 billionth app's download. So there's going to be kind of an order. I guess that's more organized, I guess. You have to submit an entry form and stuff like that. It says there are some limits to the Apple's giveaway. For one, entrants must be of 13 ages or older to participate. Apple is also limiting users to 25 download entries per day. So you can only enter 25 complete entry forms per day. So that's not too bad. And again, they have a non-profit method. So if you don't want to purchase, you don't want to purchase a whole bunch of $1 apps to try and win this. So I guess it's more organized. That's good to see, rather than having everybody just kind of download at the same time. That is our last story of the day, guys. Before we go, though, I do have our picks of the week. Every week we do a hardware, software, application pick. And today mine's a hardware pick. I'm going to actually go ahead and disconnect it here just to show you guys. Sorry, let me just, my camera goes out of focus here. Let me just unplug this. Okay, here you go. My pick for this week is a product I got for my birthday. Actually, it's called the Pogo Plug. I'll have a review of this over at youtube.com/digitaldojos very soon. Very interesting design. I think it won a design award for one of the products. You can see it just sits on this little it's really called, it's a little arm type thing, and it bounces around here. And what it is it has your power port right here, your Ethernet port, and 3 USB ports. So, and actually has a USB port in the front as well, and an indicator light. What this is, it's a personal cloud type thing, so you can plug external hard drives into this and plug in via Ethernet to your router, and it takes your hard drives and puts them out into a web service that it comes with. If you just go to the website, and it gives you a login, and you can also get an iPhone app. So imagine kind of like a Dropbox type thing, but for your own personal storage. So like you can put your hard drives of movies, photos, documents on, in a Western Digital hard drive, plug it in via USB to here, and it shares it. So let's say you have a computer in the living room you want to access the movies on, you can watch it over there on the big screen. Let's say you have a laptop that you want to access the movies on somewhere else, you're at a friend's house, maybe you need a document for work, you can go onto the PokePlug website, access it directly from your external hard drive. Really, really cool stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with it. You can even set up Linux web servers with this, so really cool capabilities. I still have to get a couple more hard drives to fill it up here, so I'm going to be testing it over the next couple weeks, and I'll get back to you guys with a review. But, so that's my pick for the week anyways, and it retails for like $30 now. It used to be like 100 something bucks. So I'm going to put that down here. And Josh, I don't think I messaged you about the picks, or I didn't let you know, so you good? You want me to just skip you this week? Alright, cool. So, with that, guys, that ends our podcast. One big project going on for us, guys, if you go over to digitaldojos.com, we are doing a lot of updates. The whole multi-press, or I always forget, buddy press, the whole, multi-user blogging is kind of, we had some issues. One with spam was being a huge thing, just because a lot of spammers, a lot of bots, or kind of, not bots, but, I guess some bots, but you said most of them were, like, manual entries, right, Josh? Like, people were just entering like usernames, and then like legit usernames, and they would be like posting ridiculous amounts of posts in a day, stuff that's not just selling products and advertising and stuff like that. So that was a big issue. I had to manually cut down on those, and then next day there'd be 10 more in its place. There's less support for themes and all of that, and we're trying to get for a more professional look. So we reinstalled WordPress. We're doing some new changes. We're going to be bringing some new elements into the site. Obviously, we're going to be some news posts, as well as we're trying to feature our reviews and our product reviews, our tutorials, kind of sort that out for you guys. Maybe get some of our podcast, integrate more of our podcast in there, so you guys can see our latest podcast of the week and all of that. A lot of stuff we want to bring over to the site, and of course we'll be integrating our content over at youtube.com/digitaldojos. Check that out and subscribe. We're nearly there at 1,000 subscribers, I think. What are we at right now? Let me check. Are we at 995, I think? My last check. Let me check again. Digital Dojos. It's loading. Mine's loading. And we are at 994, so 6 more people subscribe. So maybe one of you guys out there viewing the podcast could be that 1,000 subscriber. And at 1,000, we're actually giving away an iPod Shuffle, which I have somewhere on my desk right here. So we'll be giving away one of the old iPod Shuffles. It's still in decent condition, not too bad. And you get a free iPod. So, well, actually, obviously, you have to enter. If you're subscribed, you'll be entered, and we'll conduct that giveaway in a separate video. But anyways, guys, thanks for joining us for this podcast. Thanks a lot, Josh, for joining us. And you're at twitter.com/Reef493, correct? All right, and if you guys want to follow me over at twitter.com/KidGuru. And with that, guys, I will catch you guys next week. Thanks for watching.